How about that? How about that? I just, man, what a long game. I can't believe they stopped selling beer after 7 innings. They got to start making some exceptions for that. Those poor fans in Seattle who showed out the way they did, they couldn't drink beer for 11 innings. 11 innings of playoff baseball with no beer. That is a damn shame. That is a damn shame. What a ball game right there. What a series. Man, I don't even know what the feelings would be right now if the series had been even at 1. And it should have been. I mean, this should have been a 1-0 series at worst for Seattle. At worst. I'm getting some other people in here. I got Baseball Spoke coming in here too. But what an absolute ball game. You got to credit Dusty Baker. I know Dusty Baker gets criticized a lot. The way he's handled the bullpen has been remarkable. It's really been remarkable since 2020. Put the comments in. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. But Dusty Baker, from going with Montero in the 8th, didn't think that Dusty was going to I didn't know what was going on with Stanek. He brought Montero out, kept Montero out there, and scoreless at the 8th, and scoreless all the way into the 18th inning. Jeremy Pena, who started, it seems like every critical rally of this series was a result of Jeremy Pena working the count in game 1, and getting the hit to get on for Alvarez, and then doing the same thing the next day. But it was just an all-around good effort. Luis Garcia, my God. I mean, for someone who's not even probably expecting to pitch today, to come in there and do what Luis Garcia did, that's one of the best relief pitch performances in the history of this franchise. And I don't have like my history book in front of me, my Astros history book, but that it's hard to imagine too many pitching performances better than the one we just saw from Luis Garcia. Cha was doing his damn thing. Facebook user says Vasquez couldn't hit today. So, I mean, he caught 11 scoreless innings. I know if Maldonado had caught 11 scoreless innings, I'd have to hear Dusty Baker talk about how great he did and how great of a game he called. It's amazing these pitchers can pitch when he's in there. But yeah, he couldn't hit. Nobody could hit, though. I mean, it was scoreless after 102 outs, sir or ma'am, Facebook user. So, yeah, he couldn't hit. Nobody could really hit at all. Let's effing go. Okay. Correa, who it's exactly what I said when he hit that bomb. Celebration for Luis Garcia. Luis Garcia equals king on fire. The pitching staff was incredible. The whole bullpen was incredible. I mean, if you just look at what the bullpen did in this year, McCullers was incredible too. McCullers pitched better than any other starter did. It wasn't even really close. Lance McCullers got it done, and now it's just a matter of, are the Yankees going to be able to do their part? I don't even know. I don't know what would have happened if they would have played tomorrow. I don't like the idea of Yordan Alvarez running around in the outfield for as long as he had to, so I was a little bit concerned about that. But luckily, they got this game done. Let's join. Let's get Baseball Spo in here. The great Baseball Spo. How about that? How about that game time right there? I know you're a big fan of that. How about that game time?
Oh, it was a lot. It was a lot, Landry. I'm just glad I wasn't there. I can't imagine actually having to be there and do post-game work for this.
Well, what about being a fan and they stopped selling beer in the 7th inning?
Then you're probably passing out by then. You know what I mean?
What did you think? Like, sometimes whenever the games like this go, there's a certain team that has a disadvantage. What do you think the layout would have been tomorrow? Like, let's say that the Mariners win this in 18 instead of the Astros. What would the layout have been?
I guess you would have had Logan. I mean, you would have had 2 rested starting pitchers, because you would have had Logan Gilbert start on normal rest for Seattle, and it sounds like it was going to be Christian Javier for the Astros, who again would have been on normal rest after he pitched in the first game. what Tuesday. I've lost track at this point. So actually, both teams were going to be in pretty good shape when you look at. You had an off day after game one. You got an off day after game two. So nobody had pitched in back-to-back days. Really, aside from Paul Sewald, none of the relievers were really stretched out too badly. I mean, Sewald, I think, threw 35 pitches. None of the Astros relievers until Luis Garcia threw more than 20. So I think both teams would have been sitting in pretty good shape going into tomorrow's game. So I think both teams would have felt okay. They just would have been worn down. I think the position players might have been more tired than anybody else.
So is this now, is it go Guardians, make it as long as possible with the Yankees? Sometimes you have these like sneaky matchup things. The Yankees are I'm assuming that the Yankees are the team that you don't want and you want the Guardians.
I don't know. I would have said that before that series started, but Cleveland is Cleveland does some things that can really cause problems. The pitching is really good. Especially the starting pitching is really deep. The Yankees are basically have two starting pitchers that I think they trust in Cortez and Cole. And then after that, it gets really, really shaky. Cleveland, you have McKenzie, who's pitching right now. You have Bieber, who pitched right now or pitched in this game. You have Bieber, who pitched in game two. Quantrill, who pitched in the first game. So they've got a little bit more starting pitching. Offensively, though, Cleveland does not scare you at all. It's just not a great offensive team aside from Jose Ramirez, but they don't swing and miss, and that's where I think so. The Yankees have the higher ceiling, I guess would be the best way to put it. I think the Guardians probably have the higher floor. But yeah, you want this series to go to Monday. Whoever wins today, Yankees are winning right now. If they hold on, then you'd like for this series to go to a game 5, because if anything, it forces the Yankees to absolutely have to pitch Garrett Cole in one of the next 2 games. I don't know if they have to pitch him tomorrow.
Man, Seattle's a really good baseball team, man. Like I know this was a sweep, but this could have been a sweep the other way just as easily. Like I know that, leading up to this, I was saying I would rather have Seattle than Toronto and all that, but they're a really, really, really good baseball team.
Yeah, you saw just the depth of the starting pitching. It's really good. Or the depth of just the pitching in general is really good. I mean, Logan Gilbert was awesome in game 1. Castillo was great in game 2. You saw them throw out a rookie in George Kirby today, who was terrific. And then it's just arm after arm after arm after arm. Julio Rodriguez is a star. I mean, he's going to be a problem for a long, long, long time. You wonder, I think one of the mistakes in this game, they didn't have Jesse Winker at all in this series. He's a big bat for them moving forward. One of the mistakes, I don't know if it was necessarily a mistake, but it turned out to be big, was Scott Service pinch running for Eugenio Suarez in the 9th inning, because that left a big hole right in the middle of that lineup. That changed things, made things a lot easier on the Astros moving forward. But they're basically a bat away, and they'll spend some money. I mean, they've got a lot of money. That's a good market in Seattle. They've spent money there in the past. They have Julio locked up for a long time. They've got all their key guys under club control for a long time, so they can go out and get somebody and really improve their roster. So yeah, that's a really good team, and they're going to be a problem for a long time.
I thought that Julio, I just kind of felt, and you go through a lot of feelings whenever there's a big game like this. I thought after that catch, he was going to go up there and just walk it off.
Oh, that's normally what happens.
I thought he was just going to make that catch and then walk it off. The end. Yep.
And if anybody who is capable of that, it's that guy. I mean, he's so good, and you saw it in the first game with just how great he is. I think one of the big developments for the Astros over the last couple of games was that they limited him. I mean, they did a really good job against him in game 2. He had the 1 double late in that game, and then he really did not do much today. I think he had the 1 double off the wall late in the game, and that was about it. They did a really good job of keeping him off the base paths.
What do you the Dusty Baker, the bullpen thing is Montero in the 8th just about matchups? Is there something up with Stanek? What's going on?
No, it's all about matchups when you get to this point, because when you're regular season, you'll just you just basically go, okay, it's Presley in the 9th, it'll be Montero, it's whoever, you just go with whoever is available for you. When you get into a series like this, especially when you've had some days off and everybody's rested, you have the ability to plan this out. So you have pockets in their lineup And Seattle's lineup was basically the same the entire series. You kind of knew what they were going to do based on who the starting pitcher was going to be. So you go into it and say, okay, we really like Montero and we really like Abreu against the lefty. Towards the bottom of the order, when they start going with the switch hitters and the lefties, that's for Montero. I think they really like Stanek when it comes to the righties, and it just didn't really work out where they could have 1, 2, 3 for Stanek to go to the righty. So you saw it in I can't remember when Abreu pitched, but they gave him 8, 9, and 1. They gave him Frazier the lefty, or Kelnick the lefty. Then he got J.P. Crawford the lefty, and then they gave him Julio. And then after Julio, you had the righties, and that's when Stanek came in the game. So as a team, you're game planning and you're identifying the matchups that you want. And you say, all right, this part of the order is for this guy. That part of the order is for this guy.
Man, I think that Altuve is going to be okay, but this looks like the last time I've seen Altuve look this lost, I would say it was probably 2020, the post cheating COVID year when he just looked kind of lost. He's in a bad spot right now.
I mean, it's 3 games though, and he was probably their hottest hitter when the regular season ended. So it just, it's one of those things where everyone's humans. Everyone is a human, and you have humans playing this game, and sometimes you're just going to suck. And he pretty much sucked for the 3 games, and he's got a couple of days now to try and figure it out and to get in the cage. I'm sure they'll be off tomorrow. They'll probably work out on Monday. They'll work out on Tuesday, and then you get ready to go on Wednesday. But, as Dusty Baker says, you might be cold, but you're 1 pitch away from being hot.
I got to ask though, did Vasquez call a good game? I'm just asking. Like, are the pitchers are allowed to pitch good with Vasquez? Look at that 11 inning scoreless with Vasquez. He went Maldi. He hit like Maldi, and he called a good game.
We mix in a base hit every now and then.
Well, Maldi did have that little nibbler.
What did Vasquez finish in this game? Was he 0 for 4?
Yeah, he was lost.
So obviously
they should have bunted. They should have bunted that one time.
They went with the offensive catcher to start the game, and they closed with the defensive catcher.
Okay. No. Did he call a good game though? Just making sure. I don't know how these rules
work. I mean, when you don't give up a run, obviously the pitch calling was pretty good in that stretch.
So they were going to go Javier tomorrow. Obviously, it was going to be Javier, and then what was going to be the plan after that? Just all hands on deck.
No, they have Verlander for Game 5 on normal rest.
Well, what were they going to do? Depending on how long Javier went. Is it just going to be bullpen guys back to back, whatever?
Oh yeah, they'd have been fine. I mean, all those guys are used to pitching on back-to-back days. Remember, you had the off day before Game 1. Or you have multiple. You had the 5 off days before Game 1, off day after Game 1, off day after Game 2. So everyone's bullpen was in really good shape going into this series. It's just a matter of you don't necessarily want to have to pitch these guys in 3 straight games, but 2 straight days is really no big deal. And the fact that they really didn't have to extend anyone more than 1 inning or more than 20 pitches except for Luis Garcia at the end, meant that they would have been fine for tomorrow's game if there is a game tomorrow.
If there were awards, like if there were an MVP award for this series, I think there would probably be 2 candidates. It would be Jeremy Pena or it would be Yordan Alvarez. I would vote for Alvarez, but you can make a strong case for Pena, given the fact that he set the table for Alvarez twice, and he hit the walk-off after 102 outs and no runs in this game. If they went around the press box and they were asking for Adam Spillane's vote, Baseball Spo, at Adam Spillane on Twitter, who would you vote for?
Well, you obviously Alvarez, because he basically won the first 2 games, and you're not even in the spot without that. Pena was very, very good. He was very good defensively. And then you also, just the pitching staff as a whole was terrific, especially after Verlander, the way that he pitched in the first game. But how about Luis Garcia? To come in, he hadn't pitched it'd been almost 2 weeks since he had last pitched in a game. To pitch the way that he did, pressure situation, he's never, you can call it, they were calling it, Brian Anderson, no, he's just getting warmed up, because he's a starting pitcher. He's at 60 pitches. You're used to going, 90 to 100. That's the most intense game that he's ever been a part of, especially coming out of the bullpen.
Yeah.
What he did is really tough. That was just that's the best I think that I've seen him pitch, when you factor in just everything going into it, having to sit in the bullpen for 4 or 5 hours, however long it was. He was just terrific and just in complete command the entire time that he was on the mound.
you're also thrown to the wolves in that situation. Like, it's not like hey, your leash is short, we're going to come get the ball from you. Like, even when he had his good postseason start last year, like, it's, if he gets in trouble, then they're going to go get him. It's you.
Yeah.
Maybe that decreases the pressure. Like, I don't know what mentally would go through an athlete, but I doubt Garcia was expecting to go in there. He was ready to, but I doubt he was expecting to go in there and do what he did. And it's you or nothing. Like, you're either going to lose this game, or you're going to win this game. And the longer it goes, the more you just start kind of biting your nails, wondering what the hell is going to be next.
And if if you make one mistake, the game's over. And it kind of felt like he was just entering he was basically just emptying the tank. That's just kind of what he went for when he was going out there, and you just take him as deep as you can take him.
The baseball, like the baseball, like, I know you like to talk about command and you like to talk about pitches. Like, it seems like the sliders kind of, it seems like Lance is a much more complete pitcher than he's ever been. Is that fair to say? And I think you had a tweet that talked about him against lefties and him against righties. Present that to the audience.
Yeah, he's just evolved as just a pitcher over the last few years. When he first came into the big leagues, he was four-seam fastball, curveball, and then mixing in a few changeups every now and then. When he came back from Tommy John, he was much better against lefties than he was against righties, and he developed this slider, and that has really helped him neutralize right-handed hitters. And so he's just devastating against righties at this point. But the way that his arsenal is set up, he basically attacks right-handed hitters with two pitches, and then he attacks left-handed hitters with three completely different pitches. So with righties, he goes two-seam fastball, slider, and then with lefties, he goes with his curveball, his changeup, and then the cutter. And it's really, really fascinating. And I just think that makes him such a unique pitcher. And you just saw how good he was today. And to me, the Mariners are kind of easy to pitch to just because the way that they set up their lineup, where it's the three righties at the top, and then you kind of mix in, your switch hitters and your lefties towards the middle and the bottom. It just set up really well for him, and he was just unhittable in this game.
Yeah, he best start for an Astro in the 3 games, and now Seattle. If you had to buy stock in one organization in the AL West for the next 5 years, 5-year stock, would Seattle be your pick?
Oh, easily, by far. I mean,
yeah, I think so too. I mean, I'm not saying like the window's closing or anything. And I'm not saying that the Astros can't, figure something out and develop some sort of thing. But I mean, as far as just like a 5-year stock, matter of fact, I don't know too many teams that I would pick over Seattle, like in any division. So that's not even a knock on the Astros with the direction they appear to be heading and all the young talent and all that.
It's basically them, the Braves, because they have all of their guys under club control for a long time. The Dodgers,
they know how to rip people off very well.
Well, they're taking advantage of the system. Nobody has taken advantage of the system better than the Atlanta Braves over the last 3 or 4 years. You have to give them credit for that.
Yeah, they get credit. And they get to go home because the Phillies are hot right now. And so are the Padres. And the Indians are, oops, I said the I word. The Guardians, they're not. Miles Straw just stole a base, though. Miles Straw just stole a base. Look at him. Most hated man in New York. 9th inning.
Yeah, how about that? Miles Straw, the villain of the postseason.
Yeah, they hate him because he got in the stands or whatever. It might not even been a stolen base. Oh, he just stole a double. Okay. There we go. Astros going. You worried about Verlander at all?
No.
Good.
He'll be fine.
Good to go? He's fine?
Yeah.
For straight?
Yeah.
And then the Yankees? Man, that place is going to be crazy if they play the Yankees. Absolutely.
Yeah, that'd be fun, though. I mean, it's just
that's what we deserve. That's what we need.
Two teams that really don't like each other. The Yankees were really good at the start of the year. It kind of felt like, really up until the game yesterday, that they had started to find their way towards the end of the year. But they're being pushed in this series, and I'm very interested to see just how they react to it. And I just want to see what they wind up doing, assuming that their bullpen has kind of just, it's completely different than what you would have thought. And now the Guardians are going to have the tying run on base here in the 9th. But it was Chapman and it was Holmes and it was some of these other guys out of the bullpen, and now they're closing the game with Wandy Peralta, which is not something that I would have expected back in June and July when the Astros were playing them.
Tito's such a good manager. He really is.
Oh,
Tito's awesome. Tito's the man. You can't outmanage Tito. You can beat his teams. You can't outmanage Tito. It just doesn't happen. Not often. Very rarely. Spo, appreciate you. I'm going to try to watch some college football. At 6 o'clock today, we had this game scoreless in the ninth. Think about that. When this game was scoreless in the ninth, Alabama, Tennessee were tied with 8 minutes left. And TCU and Oklahoma State were in their first overtime. And it just ended like 25 minutes ago.
I need Utah to win. Can we make that happen? Or to win more than 3.5 points? How's that work?
I don't know. Oh, you took them at 3.5. That's a little bit rough there, Spo.
Well, you know.
What are we at right now?
Had a good day.
Okay.
Are you talking about the score?
What is the score for Utah and USC?
35-28 SC. Utah has the ball. End of the third quarter.
All right. So you got a shot. Go win some money, man. I appreciate you. Hopefully you get to cover Yankees. We'll talk to you Tuesday. Keep fighting the fight. Keep doing what you do. Hashtag bunt. Hashtag Maldi. Hashtag Maldi called a good game.
He did. And the bunt did not work. So, again, bunting never pays off. I try to tell you, you don't listen.
All right, Spa. I appreciate you, man.
Later.
All right. There you go. Adam Spillane joining me here. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. Getting this going. Only been going for about a month. 500 plus, 500 strong. Keep it going. In the loop, Monday through Friday, 10 to 2, Sports Radio 610. At Landry Locker on Instagram, at Landry Locker on Twitter. A lot of fun stuff going on around here. Astros, they're the whoopee. They keep us comfortable when the other teams are BSing. And that continues on to the ALCS next week. Will the Yankees be there or will they no-show? Looks like they're on the cusp of going up 2-1 so we can get the matchup that we all wanted. Texans on a bye week. Next week, Vegas week. Going to keep the content coming. Appreciate you. Have a good one. Don't forget to subscribe. I'm Landry Locker. I will talk to y'all later.